How did the statement, "I'm a woman trapped in a man's body," become not just common, not even just plausible, but unquestionable in our culture? And how did it happen so fast? For the Colson Center, I'm John Stonestreet. This is Breakpoint. In his new book, The Rise and Triumph of the Modern Self, Cultural Amnesia, Expressive Individualism, and the Road to Sexual Revolution, Grove City College professor Carl Trueman explains an awful lot about our culture. According to Trueman, this transgender moment and all of its claims about sex, gender, and human identity are just symptoms or expressions of a much deeper and much older cultural revolution. If Christians are to have any hope of responding effectively and faithfully in this time and place, it's essential that we understand how this revolution took place. Dr. Trueman's one of the featured speakers at next month's Wilberforce Weekend Conference in Fort Worth, Texas. Recently, on a special Colson Center webinar, he gave a preview of both what's in the book and what he'll be talking about this May. Trueman's central point is crucial to understand. In fact, it unlocks virtually every one of our culture's most controversial and significant issues. The view of human identity, now largely taken for granted, is radically different from the view most people throughout history, not only Christians, have long held. In the Christian view of the human person, we're more than just the stuff we're made of. We have a telos. That's a word that means we have a moral shape, a created purpose, a design. Just like a plane's made to fly, a book's made to read, a fish is made to swim, our purpose is to image and glorify God. If we hope to thrive as individuals and as a society, we must live in alignment with that design. Otherwise, we're fighting not just against God, we're fighting against our very natures. Now, sadly, that idea, which is fundamental to life itself, not to mention a biblical worldview, would be considered just too deep for many Christians and many churches. In the book, Dr. Trueman describes how freshmen entering his classes usually know what the Bible teaches about sexual morality, but have no idea whatsoever why the Bible teaches it. So when a gay friend asks why they shouldn't be able to marry someone of the same sex, or when a transgender relative claims a new name and demands new pronouns, these students are just at a loss to justify their convictions if they hold on to them. For the record, my experience with students, and for that matter, too often their parents, their educators, and even their pastors, is often identical. All Western people, to one degree or another, are unwitting disciples of an ideology that Trueman identifies as expressive individualism. This view, which is as much caught as it is taught in our culture, declares that human beings are a kind of living Play-Doh. Not only can we mold and remake ourselves according to our feelings, but the highest purpose of our lives, at least we're told, is to look within, determine our identity, and then to express it to the world, demanding that everyone comply. Of course, that also means that our highest duty to anyone else, after discovering and expressing our own identity, is to recognize and affirm their chosen identity, no matter how impossible or contrary to nature it may be. There's a reason that so many people, including yours truly, consider Dr. Trueman's book the essential explanation of our cultural moment. In astonishing detail, he describes the history of selfhood in Western culture up to this present moment, and describes how the ideas of men like Rousseau and Freud and others became the cultural water in which we all swim, even if we've never read those people. Still, the best part of The Rise and Triumph of the Modern Self is that it does more than describe what's gone wrong. Trueman helps prepare Christians to respond in grace and truth. You can get a copy of The Rise and Triumph of the Modern Self for a donation of any amount to the Colson Center this month. Just visit breakpoint.org/April 2021. That's breakpoint.org/April 2021. You can request a copy there. Please join me, Dr. Trueman, and others at the Wilberforce Weekend Conference next month in Fort Worth, Texas. The focus of the event is understanding and applying from a variety of angles who we are as made in the image and likeness of God. The Imago Dei is an essential doctrine to the Scriptures, and it's central also to our cultural witness. For more information, go to wilberforceweekend.org. For the Colson Center, I'm John Stonestreet with Breakpoint.